I don't really see it. I think that Anthony Richardson, because how high he was drafted, because he was drafted under this same coaching staff, he should have been given an opportunity to start week 1 and to lose the starting job if that was to happen.
And now this is where my conspiracy theorist mind begins to wander and work, okay? We got some controversy out in Indy as it was announced that Daniel Jones will be QB1 for the Indianapolis Colts. And as a former Giants fan, I'm over here wondering how somebody so ass is being a starting quarterback over Anthony Richardson, of all people. It's only in year 3. A lot of conversation around this. Samaria, you know you are the brains of all brains when it comes to NFL. So how you feeling about this move?
That was definitely a choice. But what I will say is that the NFL has this politics, right? And we've kind of talked about it when we were talking about the Browns and how like things work and why people don't start over other people, all of the things. But it's interesting that in this particular case, politics isn't working for Anthony Richardson. He was the number 4 overall pick to the Indianapolis Colts back in 2023. And I feel like he should have been given a chance to lose his starting spot. Like he should have been the starter until everybody was like, okay, dude, like you really cannot start. But to come in and start Daniel Jones, I saw Stephen A. Smith say that he's not even, nobody thinks that he's worthy to be a starter in the National Football League. When he was in New York, he never had any poise, never had any confidence. He had this look on his face of confusion each and every week. It's really interesting to see them move in this direction with Daniel Jones. I wish y'all the best. But I don't really see it. I think that Anthony Richardson, because how high he was drafted, because he was drafted under this same coaching staff, he should have been given an opportunity to start week 1 and to lose the starting job if that was to happen.
And now this is where my conspiracy theorist mind begins to wander and work. Okay. So we know that Jim Irsay passed away earlier this year. The team is under new management, under the his daughter has taken over the team, right? And so when you are, I would imagine when she was coming of age and her father was owning the team and she'd be there in the box and looking out at the field, she saw a quarterback out there with the last name Manning. And so we know that there's another Manning in college football right now who has a lot of people are saying that he's that guy. Yes. We ain't seen him start for his team yet, the Texas Longhorns, but there are some out there who feel like he's the consensus favorite to be the Heisman Trophy winner this year, and they say that he's elite. And so he
number 1 overall pick.
Exactly. So he is somebody who can technically, if he wanted to, contingent upon maybe he surveys the landscape of the league and see who's vying for this number 1 spot, right? Who gets the number 1 draft pick in 2026. There's a potential situation where he could declare for the draft after this year and end up in a Colts uniform. So politics, yes, but also there may be some real intention behind lowering the floor of this team with Daniel Jones at quarterback for the opportunity to potentially draft Arch Manning.
That is the only thing that would make sense to me. But I do hate that now you're putting Anthony Richardson's career, his entire career is now in jeopardy, especially when not too long ago you went all in on him. Everybody was questioning why you even drafted a player like that at number 4. And so you did that. And now I feel like you kind of need to give him an opportunity to show what he's got. He's had a few injuries that have kind of set him back.
Not a few.
But And I know they were bad because that's like the playing style.
Yeah, and that's the most unfortunate part of this. Like, you know, his rookie year, those first like 3 games, I believe, he was on fire. You know, it was very similar to Jaden Daniels. He had kind of galvanized the Colts. I'm like, oh, we got one, and that was the same year. You know, that Houston's quarterback was on fire as well, and that was the conversation. It was like, yo, they're neck and neck. Yeah, CJ Stroud, they're going neck and neck. And everyone was excited for this new generation and class of young black quarterbacks. And one injury has seemingly taken all of that momentum away. Because, you know, last year he was trying to bounce back and recover, but it never quite clicked for him. So I feel bad for AR-15, man, because you need some time in this league. You need time. And the fact that he's losing his starting job to Daniel Jones of all people. Like Daniel Jones, you can't sit here and tell me that that's the guy who's coming in here giving us a better opportunity to win football games.
Right. Because if your confidence took a hit before, it really is bad now because
like Y'all,
Oh God.
y'all bench Joe Flacco last year for me, right? After two, well, you benched me first for Joe Flacco, and then you was like, "Oh, my bad, he's super ass." Like,
Yeah.
let's get this young brother back behind center. And so, in my opinion, give me Joe Flacco 7 days out of the week before I take Daniel Jones. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
so we're getting worse. I can't. I feel bad for him, man. That Colts defense is solid, and so a lot of those players, unfortunately, are not going to have a shot this year. And they play in a beautiful dome. You ever been to their stadium?
I have.
Yeah, you
It
ain't
could
like
be
it.
better.
I like it, but a quarterback that doesn't, you don't got to worry about like inclement weather out there. You feel like I'm not mad at
Right.
it. I'm just
Right.
saying, like, you know, the dome just allows for them to play in inclement weather, which gives a
Yeah.
quarterback like Anthony Richardson opportunity to like really use his legs, get mobile. Don't got to worry about taking hits in the snow and all of that. You know, it's just I don't know. I feel bad. I feel bad for
No,
the
I
kid.
do too. I do too. And I'm hoping that he's able to, or they'll trade him somewhere that can give him an opportunity. I don't really know where that would
Where
be, but I don't
there's not a
know.
lot of
But
jobs out there right now. This is a job. This is a real
yeah,
starting job. There's not many out there right now. You know, you're not going to send him to Carolina. I mean, even though they need to do something behind the quarterback, I'm saying, but that's a possibility. But I think that they got to at
it
least
is.
give Bryce one more year to see what he can do.
Right. And they're doing that. So I'm confused. Like, I mean, I'm sure a lot of teams are like, oh, we can get Arch if he's going to be projected number one overall if he declares. A lot of teams are doing that. But I think that Daniel Jones, unfortunately, child, let's move on because I can't. Speaking of starting quarterbacks, we just talked about Joe Flacco. He
Flacco,
was named
yep.
the starter for week 1. We knew that. We talked about that. I felt like that was coming because he's a veteran. I don't really know what. Did you see? Okay, let me backtrack. Did you see the whole discourse between Dylan Gabriel and Shador? I don't know if
Yeah,
that was anything. That kind of blew up, and I don't know if that was. I don't know.
it
What did
wasn't
you think about
nothing.
that?
It wasn't nothing. I think that there was some
Okay.
intentionality behind his words that he walked
Oh,
back.
we do. Okay.
Yeah. So for
Okay.
context, Dylan Gabriel said, you know, you have entertainers and you have competitors. I'm a competitor,
Yeah.
and that statement in and of itself is a targeted statement. And he tried in the press room to walk it back by saying, you know, somebody asked him what he meant by that. And he was like, you know, you guys are the entertainers, the press. Nobody called no press entertainers. What are we talking about? Since when is the media entertaining a room full of writers, entertainers? What? Like,
Right.
no, you knew what you said, and you in the moment of competition, or maybe you were just upset that somebody was asking you about your teammate slash
Mhm.
competition in Shador Sanders, and you said some slick shit. And that's how I feel.
And I hate that. I hate that because you would think that you all share this room. And so you create somewhat of a brotherhood, right? Like we've seen it happen all the time where you have these guys competing, but they're still happy to see the next person win, right?
Yeah.
I know it's a game. I know that, it comes down to money and all the things, but I would want to see you all be more of a brotherhood, and it's not really y'all are competing like that, if that
Well,
makes sense. You're
but kind of, because we're both young. We're both in our rookie year, so we are both
I get
vying for
that.
eyeballs. Neither of us has had a real opportunity. Neither of
Mhm.
us has had an opportunity yet in this league, and so you really are an impediment to my progress. You really have the potential to stop me from getting to the chicken, from getting to the bag, from getting on that field. So yeah, while we in this room, I'm not in here necessarily rooting for you because your success means my demotion. If it's an older quarterback and a younger guy, cool. That makes a lot more sense.
Mhm.
But in this situation, they're competing.
I know. I just need people to fake it. I've been saying that since day one. Just fake it.
I had a really
Don't.
inappropriate joke, and I'm not gonna say it, but man, I want to know.
Anyways, I want people to have better public relations skills. That needs to be like something that we start implementing because nobody should know how you really feel about stuff. Just say, you know what? I'm excited. This is my guy. That just makes you look so much better
Yeah.
than to be Rodney. When have you ever said something real? When has an athlete said something real and it bode well for them? It never
Anthony
does.
Edwards. Anthony Edwards. Every single time he opened his mouth.
Like I remember when Ryan Tannehill, he was a starter, obviously with the Titans, and then they drafted Will Levis, and they were like, "Hey, are you going to be his mentor?" And he's like, "No, I'm not here to mentor him." And that did not bode well for him. People was like turning against him because all you have to do is just be like, "Yeah, that's my guy." Like, just lie. I don't understand. Like, anyways,
you can, but then that's no fun. Then we wouldn't be able to have anything to discuss. So, from a job standpoint, y'all keep being messy out there. We love that. We love a little mess in our sports landscape for sure.
Well, I know that I had some people before when we did stories about Flacco, and I was saying I thought he was the safest bet. Obviously, the coaching staff agreed with me, but people were like, "Oh, he turns the ball over, he does this, blah blah blah," and I'm like, "Yeah, but look who else you got."
Hey man, I ain't gonna hold you. I'm putting 12 back there and just seeing what he got.
Week 1? No, he needs some time. Let him develop a little bit more. And then if Flacco goes
we don't
up
want
in
him
flames,
here, we don't want him here anyway. We don't want him here anyway. Why are we not just throwing him into the fire? And if he comes out like Game of Thrones, what's shorty with the blonde hair from Game of Thrones? You ain't watched Game of Thrones.
Khaleesi. I did.
Okay. Oh.
Daenerys.
My bad. Yeah, Daenerys.
I'm a huge
Targaryen.
Game of Thrones.
All right, my fault, sis. I didn't know you back there. You dig?
I watched it like 3 times.
If he come out the flames like a Targaryen, unscathed and unbothered, then you got a real guy. You got a real leader. So from week 1,
what happens if he doesn't, Rodney?
Then him being drafted in the 5th round was for a reason. And now we have our out. There's no harm from a strategy standpoint. You don't want the kid in there anyway. You give him an opportunity from week 1. All right, you know what? You big time. Everybody thinks you the guy. You think you the guy. Your father thinks you the guy. Cool. Week 1, you're our starter. Let's see how you hold up by week 3. Let's see where we are as a team by week 3. Have you galvanized this team? Is this O-line blocking for you? All of the things. And if you're successful, you know what? We found a gem. We knew it all along. And if you're wrong, we don't want him anyway. Now let's get him out of here. And let's get Dylan Gabriel or Joe Flacco behind center, and let's see what we can do for the rest of the season. That would be my strategy.
I want to see Shedeur Sanders have success in this league more than anyone else. But unfortunately, you have to give that opportunity. If you're going to just do this throw in the fire, baptized by fire moment, you got to give it to Dylan Gabriel first. He was drafted ahead of him. That's the only thing that I would say, which is unfortunate because he's not hurt anymore. He's playing. So you got to throw him
but did you see
to
them
the
stats?
Wolves. I know, but you got to throw him to the Wolves first.
He throwing pick sixes in preseason. What we talking about? Nah, bro. Yeah, like that should be the real competition. Okay, let's see who puts up better stats in this preseason, Dylan Gabriel or Shedeur Sanders.
Okay, and they got one more game.
Yeah, they do. And hopefully Shedeur plays. We'll see. How do they even get those reps? Because Flacco has to have reps because he hasn't played.
Right. And I think that hurt him hurting his oblique really hurt him. Let me see who they're playing. They play the Rams at home.
Okay. So Rams without Stafford. I mean, you should be able to beat a Staffordless Rams team. Staffordless Rams.
I don't know because Joe Burrow now was looking a little.
What the hell was Joe Burrow doing? Did you see that play when he was running around in the circle
like throw the ball away, Joe?
What are you doing?
Like you're a rookie. You're looking like Dylan Gabriel.
Now Joe does notoriously start out slow every season. He does. But there's a conversation to be had about Joe Burrow after this season, contingent upon how things go.
Because y'all had all of your starters in. Washington didn't even have most of their starters in. I think they played for one drive. You kept him in there like the whole first quarter, and he looked not great. We'll see what happens in Cincinnati.
Yeah, and that Commanders defense, I told you, that Commanders defense is going to be cold. They're going to be good. They're going to have a good season.
I got a bone to pick with Washington, but anyway, you all drop down in the comments and you let us know your thoughts on Indianapolis naming Daniel Jones as the starting quarterback for week 1. Do you feel like they think that he's the better quarterback, or is this all a ploy to get Arch Manning?
And make sure you tap into our newsletter. Click on that link in our bio. We got all the sports conversations for your head top. You feel me?